Yeah, it's no secret that scams and slop have seemingly taken over the world. With the popularization of AI, it's simpler than ever to pretend to be Matthew McConaughey and scam an innocent grandma out of all her money. You can also fill the internet with garbage videos for easy ad revenue by just generating a bunch of slop. It is so trivial nowadays. It feels like scammers rule the world. In some places, they literally do. And while I could sit here and talk about the erosion of democracy across the free world, I think I'm gonna focus on a little bit more of a trivial topic. See, we here at Crispy's Tavern, we cover tabletop games, and yeah, the TTRPG space is not immune to the spread of AI-generated garbage. Look, besides that, I can't help but notice that AI content has already thoroughly breached the walls of this community, and it came from inside the house. A lot of community-made third-party homebrew content is now entirely AI-generated slop and shovelware, and it is pissing me off. Online marketplaces that used to be bastions for community creativity are now borderline unusable because of the sheer amount of garbage content that's on there, and I want to talk about it. So, without further ado, guys, let's get this started. Okay, so I really got interested in this topic when I saw this article by Professor Grimm that really illustrated who exactly is behind this, because it is a lot of overseas malfactors. That's right, friends, the nice Romanian man who's calling you on the phone to talk to you about a free iPhone is now switching over to a new scam, and that is making AI D&D maps. Hear me out on this one. So Professor Grimm's article goes really in depth. It's linked in the description. It's a really, really good read, but I'll give you some spark notes on what it covers. He found this map bundle online for relatively low prices, but when he looked at it, he saw that, yeah, it's all AI generated garbage. Incensed by the nonsense, he decided to look in a little closer and found RPG Maps Forge, a company that claims to be artisans, handcrafting every single one of their maps. Now, the evidence of my eyes would say otherwise, but there's a lot more that's suspicious about this website than just the AI-generated crap. There's also fake reviews. Yeah, when Professor Grimm looked at the reviews, he saw they were claiming to have thousands of reviews on their product, which is pretty impressive. That indicates a really popular product, but when you actually look at the reviews, it's only just over 100 reviews, not the thousands that they claim. Most of those reviews are not listed, and they easily could have just photoshopped the number in there, and that's honestly probably what they did. But even within the 150 quote-unquote real reviews, there were a bunch in there that were likely also AI generated. This is, of course, to buff up the popularity of the product. I mean, if all these other people love it, then you'll love it too, regardless of the evidence in front of you saying that this is probably slop that's not worth your money in any way. Seriously, just like subscribe to Chepeku, dude. They make better stuff and they make more of it too. But look, while most scammers, especially telephone scammers, will give up and move on to a new victim when they start detecting some resistance, these guys behind this whole map thing are a little bit more dedicated. When Professor Grimm went into their Discord server to check out what they were saying, they were talking in German. Now, I don't speak German. Professor Grimm does. And this is what he said about their claims. The company is doubling down, not only claiming that their content didn't use any AI, but was handcrafted by an internal team of illustrators and authors. To a trained eye looking at their product, as well as anyone working in the industry, this statement is dubious at best. Even if their content was not at least partially AI generated, which it most likely is, almost none of the people working in the industry have their own employees, except big publishers. Freelancers are much more usual, especially for illustration. Yeah, they're pulling a Milo Winter, claiming to have a full team of paid and experienced artists. Yeah, I think their primary art director is named Journey. Midjourney. So stupid. But it gets even dumber. You see, most scammers don't want you to know who they are, but these guys, they want a more personal thing. A lot of the TTRPG space, especially the indie space, try to foster community by being more personal with the audience. So these guys do the same thing. They claim to be a couple from Romania, but this bio has some suspicious stuff, starting out with how they describe their work. Creating doesn't just mean drawing a map, but also realizing the perfect one for your next game session or novel, ready to be printed or used digitally. Our resources reduce the stress of map makers by 47%, allowing them to take time and offering them maximum customization. Today with RPG Maps Forge, a new chapter has just begun. Wow, how'd they do that 47% calculation? And by they, I mean ChatGPT, because that's definitely what they use to write that description. It's just ChatGPT throwing in buzzwords and numbers to get people to buy the product. But the creme de la crop of this whole cringe fest is looking at the picture of the couple. Because yeah, obviously the owners are AI generated too. I mean, there are still so many easily removed artifacts in this page. It's crazy lazy. Like, look at this ring. It goes over 2 fingers. Now, normally I'd just stop there, but Professor Grimm, he took it to another level because he actually tracked down who exactly owns this company, as well as the address of the company itself. RPG Maps Forge belongs to DC International Agency SRL, which, I have to admit, is a strange name for a TTRPG company. In 2023, this company had sales volume of over 4.7 million RON, according to North Data, which would roughly equate to about $1 million USD. It is not entirely clear what amount of that sales volume was generated by the RPG Maps venture and what was generated by other ventures. Now, I will say it's very unlikely that the maps are generating the majority of that revenue because often these scam companies are using a lot of different methods to get their money. For example, if you look at those call centers that are calling people about their free iPhones, that is almost definitely not the only operation that you have going on. I mean, it feels really good when you see a YouTuber rage baiting a scam caller, right? But they're usually just the tip of the iceberg of bigger companies that made scamming their entire business. This whole SRL company is most likely making their money from a bunch of different baskets that they got their fingers in, not just the maps thing. Also, I found this account of some of their shady business practice from someone who actually tried to purchase the maps. So, here's what they said. They do a constant, you only have 2 minutes to get this great offer, but you don't only have 2 minutes. They're just trying to push you to make the purchase. They will also then keep offering other products along the purchasing process. Things like, for $14, you can get our sci-fi brushes. If you decline, it pops right back up, but lowers the price down to $7. If you decline again, it goes away for a while, but will pop back up again on the side with another countdown box. After you make a purchase, it doesn't send you to a page to download the software. Instead, they send you an email that has a link to a PDF file, which, when you open the PDF file, has a link to a Google Drive. This is the way they decided to go about that. When you get to the Google Drive page, they have all their files not bundled together in one easy way to download, but a bunch of zip files you have to compile afterwards, along with a couple of how-to files. How to extract the files, how to import an actual program, use its brushes, etc. To be clear, you aren't buying a program or tool, which is what this thing is being sold as. Which, yeah, sounds kind of fishy to me. Today's episode is sponsored by Boot.dev, an innovative and fun way to learn how to code. Now, I don't know if you know the lore, but I used to want to be a game developer. Problem is, if you want to be a game developer, you need to program things, and I can't do that. But Boot.dev makes the process of learning software development actually fun and engaging by gamifying the experience. Their XP levels, community boss fights, quest logs, the whole 9 yards. This isn't a class, it's an adventure. But if you're not about that, if you just want to get the information, guess what? All that is free. That's right, you can learn all of the information from Boot.dev 100% for free. The only thing you need to pay for is the gamified experience. Still, I would recommend the premium tier because when learning is fun, it's easier to learn. If you guys are interested, then you can head down to the description down below or to the pinned comment where you can use my code TAVERN so that you can get 25% off your entire first year of Boot.dev. Thank you so much to Boot.dev for sponsoring today's episode. As always, supporting our sponsors does support us. Without further ado, back to the tea. Now, Professor Grimm's article goes even more in depth about this whole thing. He actually exposes another scam. And this is where I bring up the question of, Crispy, who cares that this business is being operated most likely by overseas scammers that are taking lots of money from people in many different ways? But, I mean, they're not hurting anyone with this venture. It's just AI generated map. What's the big deal? Well, guess what, buddy? I think it's a big deal when people are stealing other folks' work and then using it for their own slop content. Now, You might be thinking that I'm talking about how generative AI is trained off of millions and millions of copyrighted works from across the internet, because with some of the companies Professor Grimm is covering, they're not even using the database of millions. They specifically take one guy's map and then copy it beat for beat. Like, seriously, look at this. These comparisons are damning. They're doing the exact same thing. They're putting this guy's map into the AI, telling the AI to change up the style, and then just plugging it into their folder for sale. That is terrible. It's so incredibly lazy because you don't have to do that. ChatGPT can theoretically generate a map. It won't be a very good map, but it will do it. But these guys, they're specifically taking someone else's work and then plugging it into the algorithm. I'm well aware that AI can spit out some of its training material directly. It does happen, but it doesn't happen often. And here, it's happening multiple times. This is intentional. It's intentional theft. And at that point, why not go buy the content from the actual guy who made it? Why support this crap? People who want AI to succeed are so desperate to find some actual use case for it that they will pay scammers for work that they could get better from somewhere else. It's ridiculous. But it's not just online scammers. It's on legit sites too. Hey, you know DriveThruRPG? You know DM's Guild? Ginny D did so many DM's Guild advertisements years ago. She was sponsored by them all the time, advertising great third-party modules made by community members who are passionate about Dungeons & Dragons. Now, DM's Guild is dead. Like, I'm not exaggerating. I think DM's Guild is practically a dead website because it has been flooded with a never-ending deluge of crap content. Seriously, the first thing I saw when I went to DM's Guild was this adventure bundle. This is obviously AI generated slop that, by the way, has the balls to say that no AI was used, while of course at the same time having an AI was used in the making of this product tag at the very bottom of the page. Like, it's ballsy, I'll give them that. Now, this problem is big for multiple reasons. Now, this is irritating on multiple levels. Obviously, I don't want to be buying a bunch of AI crap and seeing it all over my page. Just generally pisses me off. But also, the website is near unusable for creators, not just consumers. If a creator wants to get noticed on something like DM's Guild or DriveThruRPG, they need to hope and pray that their stuff can break through the walls of slop that are now placed onto the website. Unless you have a pre-existing audience or shell out big money to sponsor a YouTuber, it's just not likely that your stuff is going to take off. And also, generally speaking, DM's Guild and DriveThruRPG have the same problem that a lot of online services have. Stuff like Netflix, for example, will have a top 10 list of the most popular stuff, and it will always be the same stuff. The stuff that is popular tends to stay popular because that's what makes the website money. But bold, new ideas, underrated little favorites, those are usually not making the list, and the same thing goes for DM's Guild. If you look at their trending pieces, these are all modules I've seen for a really, really long time, and don't get me wrong, they're great. This expanded monster manual in particular is filled with particularly amazing human-made art, but it's been here. It's been here for a long time. The fact of the matter is that the trending stuff being all for the most part, it says a lot about what's going on with these kind of online marketplaces. Nothing new is breaking onto the scene, and when it does, it's few and far between, primarily because the website is just filled with garbage that customers don't want to sort through. I mean, seriously, when I looked up DM's Guild, this Reddit post was one of the first things that came up on Google. Nowadays, it's all a slop of AI with zero quality control. Not that there was any publishing oversight, unless it involved queerness, but that's an entirely different topic. But there is just nothing good being put out anymore. And a lot of it, I do think, is the fall of the OGL debacle. But also, again, it's all AI-generated junk or unedited word vomit. Where are the JVC Perrys, the Ashley Warrens, able to put their own work out there and get maybe discovered now too? Yeah, that stuff isn't happening. If you're wondering what happened to those authors listed off in that post, there were more I didn't specifically name, but they're there. A lot of those people left DM's Guild. They left DriveThruRPG. Why? Because it's just not practical for them to stay. Beyond that, I haven't even gotten to the most irritating part of the new age of DM's Guild and DriveThruRPG because, yeah, It's time to talk about the Gooner bait.
AI art of a buxom woman with a tiny waist wearing very little clothing and a title called something like The Ashen Heavens or The Star-Torn Pathway.
Yeah, Will from D&D Shorts made a great video about this, but DM's Guild is just covered in AI-generated images of hot, sexy women posing near nude so that they can attract some gooner who is so desperate to get horny that he will buy a 50-cent D&D module generated on ChatGPT. Some creators put out literally hundreds of these, some 5 to 10 per day, new modules put up on the website, just hoping and praying it will somehow stumble into someone's shopping cart. Now, I'm not out here saying that being a hot woman is a bad thing. Far from it. I'm a midriff slut myself. But, guys, for God's sakes, I do think it is just a little bit cringe to generate so much of this slop that will only appeal to the likes of, just a robot.
Countless nuts were busted over your videos.
Now, I was really happy that Will from D&D Shorts made a video on this topic because somebody needed to speak out about it. And that's the reason I'm making a video too, because Will's video actually may have made some positive change because DriveThruRPG put out this video.
If you're tired of seeing AI-generated content on drive-thru sites and the DM's Guild, here's how you can hide it for good. First, log into your account, head to the top right where it says Menu, and then click My Account. Under Account Settings, find Additional Preferences and then toggle Show AI Content off. Now, your searches and recommendations will hide anything tagged as AI.
Obviously, I'm pretty sure this feature existed before Will's, but the fact that they felt the need to respond to his video and be more public about this feature to remove generative content, that was good. All right, it showed these websites can do something. Now, there are still a lot of problems with this solution, most notably being that a lot of creators do not say, hey, this is generated with AI. I mean, remember that adventure pack? No AI was used in this content when, yeah, it definitely was. A lot of people try that. Now, DriveThruRPG specifically does claim that they have a moderation team that makes sure that people who use AI-generated content are marking the AI-generated content. But how is a mod team supposed to cover all of it? Are they gonna ban users that are using this content to spam the website? I mean, unlikely. Whether we like it or not, that kind of content makes them money too, so they probably don't want to get rid of it entirely. I have no idea how it's gonna turn out, but for now, it sucks to see DriveThruRPG and DM's Guild reduced to this state. It just, it's painful, man. When you see slop, call it out unapologetically because it has no place in the tabletop industry. In any case, I hope you guys enjoyed this little rant video. I was hoping for something a bit easier to make, but this one got me heated. If you guys enjoy and want to see more of our content, then you might enjoy this previous episode of my old D&D advice series where I tried to use some of these garbage AI tools for my D&D game and concluded that they all, suck. It's linked up in the cards. But before you go, please do also let me know if you were loyal to the tavern by leaving the comment, no more slop. So let me know you made it to the end of the video. Also, leave a like on this one and subscribe to Crispy's Tavern so you miss Amber content comes out. And finally, support us directly on Patreon or buy our merch. Stuff like that is what makes these videos possible. In essence, like, comment, subscribe, support. I will see you all next time. Farewell. Testing the microphone to make sure that, oh wow, it's really quiet.